Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. All right, Friday's my PowerPoint day, so this is the kind of stuff I used to share at the yoga circle for those of you who are new to what I'm doing. So let's begin right off. This is called personal practice. I always lean towards my understanding of yoga because it's the one I have the most experience with. So if there's going to be any kind of authentic transmission, I can say this is my experience. Now it's up to you to find out how true it is for you. But of course, it's also a metaphor. So for those of you who are not into yoga, especially yoga postures, or yoga breathing, or meditation, there are many, many ways to change consciousness, expand your bandwidth, and so forth. So I hope you understand it's a metaphor symbolizing the potential of human spirituality that we have all inside ourselves in a dormant state, and we're going to churn our inner life till we get the cream, right? All right, so let's begin with Swami Satchidananda, who began Woodstock, which I was at, Woodstock 1 for you young people out there, and I love the way he said, America has become a whole. He's used to hundreds of thousands of people in big bhakti festivals in India. But I love this definition. Yoga is body of perfect health and strength, mind of all clarity and control, will intelligent, sharp as a razor, will of steel, intellect sharp as a razor, heart full of love and mercy, and a life dedicated to the common welfare and the realization of the true self. Sign me up for that. And what I've learned from my teacher is yoga karma sukha salam. Yoga is skill in action. Yoga brings a certain kind of ecstasy. If you look at that word as ecstasis, away from the fixed or static condition. It's a breakthrough. It's a union of your mind, your body with your spirit. It's a disconnection to the connection of suffering. And you learn steadiness and balance through inhale and exhale that you make in a measured way. You regulate the inhale and exhale. It's called thermoregulation. See what it does to you. Now, what are the benefits, the mental benefits of yoga? Oh, it's so much it's ridiculous. Learning, efficacy, decision-making, healthy coping mechanisms, stress management, concentration, private time, me time, a better or healthier body image, a boosted memory, a relaxed mind, self-confidence. In terms of mental clarity, a sense of presence, being here, strength and toughness to deal with stuff, anxiety and depression management, decreased perception of pain, a mind-body connection. You see the unity, hooking the things together. As my teacher says, where does the body end and the mind begin? Where does the mind end and the soul begin? They kind of overlap, right? So it's a sense of control over your emotions, not that you can control which emotion comes up, but once you see it, you have a choice about to indulge in it or to let it go and shift your attention somewhere else. And then, of course, the decreased impact of negative emotions because you're creating all these feel-good chemicals. And then always curiosity, the investigative spirit, and that leads you to enthusiasm and optimism. Wow, is that enough to know what yoga will do for you? So deepening it means getting into it more than before. And it's totally up to you. Now, yoga posits 4 different branches of the main tree. The first one is Raja Yoga, meditation, sit in silence, reflect, no comment, just observe and let it go. See what happens when you empty your mind that way till you get into what they call stream consciousness. Everything is in flowing movement, as you are too. And then there's the intellectual path, Jnana Yoga, studying the scriptures, reflecting on the teachings of the great saints and sages, and the commentaries made by people on that. Then there's Karma Yoga, like Gandhi. What do you do? It's always an act. And he says the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service of others. All yoga leads towards compassion and selfless service because it's the right thing to do. And then finally, there's bhakti, or devotion, anything that opens your heart, anything that brings love, anything that allows you to feel more deeply. And of course, everything you do is something that you offer as a sacred sacrifice to your form of deity. Because whatever you perceive as your Ishtadevata, or the thing that resonates in your heart, that's just the outer form representative of the energy that informs it behind it, just like in this picture Arjuna is supplicating Krishna, who he thinks is his charioteer, but behind Krishna in the physical form is the spiritual Krishna that represents the universal outpouring of spirit in whatever form the devotee can perceive it in. Now, do we have your commitment? Yes and no. It's called sankalpa in yoga. Commitment means the intention to follow up, motivation, what you learn to do when you don't feel like doing it. That's a powerful ally to have, not wishy-washy, but really clear. If I put my mind to it, it's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. Find what your commitment is. And then I love this idea we call the cycles of competence. Everybody begins in yoga with what we call unconscious and incompetent, right? You didn't know that you didn't know. But now that you know, oh boy, I was unconscious before, so how could I be competent in this? So just that itself is a promotion, an upgrade. Now you're conscious of your incompetence. But if you keep on practicing, you find that the things you couldn't do, all of a sudden, I'm getting a handle on this, and you start to develop what they call conscious competence. And then if you keep on doing that for a while, things will become second nature to you. You don't have to think about it. Your body's kind of flowing because you've set the pattern again and again. You've done so many reps that now you're embodying it in a less self-conscious way. And because you're doing that, now you have unconscious competence. So unconscious incompetence, to conscious incompetence, to conscious competence, to unconscious competence. I love it. You'd be like a Zen master if you do that. All right, so from that cycles of competence, you realize it's only through repetition and mistake that you find out through direct experience what works and what doesn't work. And one of my old favorites is, remember, good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. So you got to make the mistakes, and if you try, you'll see that a number of these things you fail, then you learn not to quit and to keep at it until you make a breakthrough. You know my metaphor, push? Yeah. Persist until something happens. Something will happen if you persist. And you can follow recipes if you want to, but the truth is that sometimes other people's proportions don't work for you. So you can use it as a guideline, but ultimately you have to encourage yourself. You have to coach yourself to take a risk and find out what taste do you like. How well do you want it? Your pasta al dente. Is that too hard, too soft? So this comes again from your own personal experience, investigation, remember, curiosity. These are some of the things that you learn and you embody in your personality in a better way than you did before. And so my last thing is to remind everybody, I call it mommy's house and daddy's house. It's not really male and female as much as energy moving, like yin and yang. In mommy's house, you give yourself a break. You run to kiss the boo-boo. Don't do it if it's too hard for you don't love. Let's go bake a cake, have something sweet. It's a beautiful thing to have that kind of nurturing quality inside yourself, someone that'll take you and care for you, make it okay. But then there's daddy house. Suck it up, kid. Get some backbone, get some spine. Learn to eagerly anticipate the accustomed time that you know you're going to put in with your discipline. It really wakes you up like that. I hope the stark madness of the father's love for the kid. Huh? Okay. Anyway, 2 ways of looking at things. Don't forget. There's mommy's house, kiss the boo-boo. There's daddy's house, the tough love teaching. No less nurturing, but just approaching with a little harder edge. That's it for today. Have a great weekend. I hope that you do what you love to do. Pass on the word. Thank you for supporting me. Subscribe to GabrielHalpern.com if you haven't already. Tell your friends. And I'm always looking for people to come and do some yoga with me at home. So let me know if you want to come and share with me. I'd love to have you see my house.